Now for the control connections, this diagram shows what I did for the right-hand taillight. Pretty much we had to solder a connection to one side of where the IC chip controlled either R25 or R26, brought it to my circuit. I controlled it and then reapplied it back to R26 and then jumpered from R26 back to R25. For this circuit, everything's pretty much backwards, and for R26, there was no easy way to solder a wire like on the side that comes out of the IC chip because it goes directly from the resistor to the pin. So I didn't want to even solder anywhere near this. So my control connection is actually on this side where the IC chip connected to R25, and that'll go to my circuit. And then the regulator part of it that comes from my circuit, once I actually control it, it goes back to R25, and then I have a jumper going from R25 to R26. And I already have this soldered up. This wire hanging here, I wrapped it up here, looped it actually down through so I could wrap it around the back, and I connected it to this pin, which is the one right here in the middle of my fingernail. That's the one that comes out of the IC chip and then transfers across and goes to R25 where I broke. So this will go out to the circuit so I can control it. Then this wire wraps back up through here and then goes to R25, and this will be how I drive the LEDs. And then this green one going from R25 to R26 is the jumper between them. So I use the IC power from one of them to control both of them. And let's see if I can set up a quick little demo here. Let's get some power to this thing. Okay. So once I get my circuit all connected up, once I connect these two wires together, which is the control and the regulator, you can see the half ring actually lights. This is hard with the camera in one hand. One thing you'll notice whenever I do this, these three LEDs kind of go out. That's because of the jumper from R13 to 2. Because I'm putting voltage through here, it kind of steals the ground voltage from the full ring, and that was the effect I mentioned whenever I first started that connection on. But once I get the rest of the circuit hooked up, I'll be able to tune that out. You can see I have more wires coming out of here. I ended up soldering on the rest of the connections I need. This was just a detail saying, okay, new delay circuit, or delay and control circuit. And after doing all the other jumpers and the control connections, you'll need a connection from full ring P1, which is the ground. So here's full ring P1, and that's this blue wire right here. Then you'll need stop power from full ring P3, which is over here, same location, and that's, I think, this brown wire coming out. And then you'll need turn signal power, which is full ring P4, and that's the one right next to P3, and I think that's this other green one. I could color coordinate this more, but I'm kind of low on this gauge of wire and type of wire, so I'm sort of mix matching here depending on what I have enough for. The last connection is taillight power. Now this diagram was based on the right hand one, and I pulled it from the half ring pin 4. And back whenever I was first looking at my my very first taillight, I noticed it would be pin 6 for a left hand taillight. So looking at the half ring, it actually labels like what each one of these wire leads are going between the half ring and full ring, and pin 6 is here, which is actually also connected to pin 10, but I soldered to the back of pin 6, and that's this white wire floating up here. So so with that, I have everything soldered to the circuit board itself. Now I just need to lay everything out in the breadboard and make sure it all works properly. got the circuit all together in the breadboard, and it actually works out pretty well. One thing though, whenever I mentioned that the three LEDs from the resistor and MOSFET that we were stealing power from for tricking out the car, for some reason on the left-hand circuit, running from R13 to R2, like I said before, made these three LEDs always dim out whenever the half ring came on, and for some reason, I didn't really run into that with the right-hand side. So I ended up actually taking the jumper. I kept it on R13, but I strung it up, and you can see now I have it running out along here because I wanted to keep it all tied in with everything else. But I ran it up to R15. So it's the same setup, but instead of stealing the end of these three LEDs, I'm stealing the end of these three. So you still have the same MOSFET, and it still has the same connection coming off and going to a resistor. So I just stole that, and it actually works perfectly fine now. So here's a little demo. And then with tail light power. And I already plugged it into the car, and it gives me no indication or anything like that of the tail light being out. So, so the circuit's a success. I just need to get soldered up and all together. Okay, so the circuit is actually complete now. I went based on pictures of what I did before and pretty much replicated the exact same circuit, and I actually already have it tuned to what I set the other one to. You can see I sort of like harnessed everything coming from the half ring and the full ring, and just ran exactly how I did before. Sorry, I really didn't want to give any like demos on how to solder. I just rely on like other people having their own experience. But whenever you want to get something done, okay. So here's a quick demo of the circuit. Alright, so now all I gotta do is just get everything in the housing, and I took pictures as I did the right hand one, so I'm just gonna slap this guy in and should be good.